Hey everybody, what's going on? Juan here, welcome back to the channel, and for this video, I want to be able to showcase 4 games that I've been playing quite recently because chances are you've either seen a little bit about these games or have never heard about them before, because with so many awesome, incredible independent video games coming out each and every week, it is really easy to overlook one, or maybe the list is so long, so extensive that it just gets lost in that shuffle. So every couple of weeks, every couple of months, I want to make sure that I do a video like this showcasing a couple of the games that I've been playing, with the purpose that maybe after watching the video, you yourself want to play one of these incredible video games. So kicking it off right off the bat at number 1, this is my favorite game from this list, and honestly, maybe one of my favorite games of this year. And I know that may seem surprising, but I got this game for nothing because it was included in the Humble monthly service, and it is one of the most charming games that I played in the past couple of years. So we're going to be talking about A Short Hike. It is a Humble original, so it is a short-form game that is only available for people subscribed to the Humble monthly service. The game has a simple premise. You're at this faraway location and you want to call your mom, but you don't have any phone signal, so you go on a short hike to go up to the very highest point in the island, so hopefully you can get enough reception to talk to your mom. Now, how you go about doing this is what makes the game so charming. First of all, visually speaking, this is a hybrid of an N64 game meets PS1 game meets Animal Crossing, because it's got all these cute animals, but then it's also got this rough around the edges look that you traditionally get with PS1 games. Tie that in with charming music and the fact that every interaction that you have with a character is full of personality, of jokes, of funny moments that really make you feel like you have a good sense of this world, that honestly, you're in here for anywhere between an hour to an hour of 20 minutes, and you can probably get by this game in as little as 30 minutes. But I gotta tell you, every little second is something that I absolutely enjoyed than even most other games. Now, even though you have one main objective, you actually have a couple of side missions that keeps things engaging and interesting. And most side missions actually have a really nice reward for you, whether it be something cosmetic like a bandana, or you actually get a golden feather. And I love the fact that they incorporated these feathers into the game, because this game does not have any combat. Instead, you fly and climb, although at the very beginning of the game, you're somewhat limited. You can't climb too high, and then if you fly, you can't fly as high as you need to get to the end of the game. So what ends up happening is that you can buy some of these golden feathers, you can find them around the world, or you can complete specific missions and they give you access to those. So you can technically get to certain points that almost get you to the very end of the game, but you quickly realize, oh, if I get one more golden feather, I can actually get the job done. And if I gotta say that there's one thing I did not like about the game, is that it ended way too quickly. I could easily play a full-fledged version of this game. If they came out with a Short Hike 2 tomorrow, I would gladly pay full price. And if there's any way that you can get access to this game, if you can subscribe to the Humble Monthly and check it out via the Humble Trove, I absolutely suggest that you do that, because this game is for the Zelda fans, it's for the platforming fans, it's for the adventure fans, it's for fans of games that make people want to smile. So hopefully we get something else like this down the line, or if you've played another game that looks like a short hike and you think I should check it out, please let me know in the comments, because I am craving for something as charming as a short hike. Now, number 2, this is a game that I got for the Nintendo Switch, and it is a hack and slash game that can be played with up to 2 players. So if you like something like Gauntlet, and maybe you don't want something as complex as a Diablo, then maybe Remi Lore, Lost Girl in the Lands of Lore is for you. Remi Lore is a game that I first played last year back at PAX West, and I had a really good time with it because I'm a fan of action games, and this is a procedurally generated game. That means that if you're looking for something that's just a little bit different each and every time you play, then Remi Lore is going to be right up your alley. It's out now for the Nintendo Switch, which is where I've been playing it, but if you're a PC gamer, fear not, because it is supposed to be coming out on Steam in April 2019, which is when I'm recording this video, but as of the recording, it's not readily available. And this is a dungeon crawler, but it's not nearly as expansive as Diablo. It doesn't have these crazy skill trees. Instead, you do have a couple of upgrades that can increase your drop rate for better weapons, or maybe a special ability does more damage and little things like that. But overall, this is a fairly simplistic hack and slash game that you can play either by yourself or in co-op. I'm not playing this game for its story. As a matter of fact, you have two different options if you want to go at it solo. The first one does give you the cutscenes, but if you just want to play it for the gameplay and you don't care about the story, that is an option as well. The game is fairly forgiving, and say you reach a new stage but you don't want to play anymore, you can suspend and come right back to it at a later time. The game does not take itself all that seriously. I mean, look at the currency. You pick up candy and sweets when you kill the enemy. Candies and sweets. Look at the weapons. You can play with spatulas, brooms, giant chocolate bars. These are your weapons of choice. The weapons have two types of attacks. The first one is the quick one. This doesn't deal all that much damage when compared to the heavier one, but that is obviously slower. Now, in addition to these, you have special abilities that you can upgrade. Some of them can be an assist attack, where your book actually attacks the enemy. Another one can be an ice attack, which is my favorite, that slows down the enemy so you can comfortably move around. And my other favorite one is the attack boost. Now, I've played this game for over 3 hours, and unfortunately, I can't say that I've made that much progress, and that's because I keep dying and dying. This is a very challenging game that honestly, I prefer to play by myself rather than co-op because I feel it can get a little bit hectic on the screen, as you can see, but it is a fun game. It's just, you gotta time your dashes so that way you can dodge some of the attacks. Some stages are almost like bullet hell shooters. Sometimes you have bosses that you really gotta be careful because you can have a full bar of health, but then you get one attack and just like that, you're almost dead. I do recommend you check out Remi Lore, Lost Girl in the Lands of Lore, if you like hack and slash or beat 'em up games. Now, I don't know why, but for the past couple of weeks, I've had this craving for strategy games, and this is a genre that I love going all the way back to games like Final Fantasy Tactics on the PlayStation 1. I've recently been playing the game called Exhorter on the Nintendo Switch. Now, that's not actually part of this video, but I guess you could call it an honorable mention. But another game that I have been playing that's very challenging and I've really been enjoying my time with it is Element Space on Steam. Element Space is a game that came out earlier in the year, but we actually played this last year at the Mix, which is the Media Indie Exchange. We actually had a chance to talk to the developers during the event, and that was an awesome experience. And this game is going to be very familiar for those that love games like XCOM because it's all about the character movement. It's about strategizing and not immediately rushing into action, because if you're going into this thinking that the moment that the stage starts, you're going to go right towards the enemy and kill them, you're not going to have a good time. As you move your characters, you see that some cover is better than others. Sometimes the cover can actually be broken, and you really got to make use of each character's special abilities. You start out with 3 characters. I barely used Alice when I first started playing the game because she's all about melee combat, so she is very short range, and I was thinking to myself, well, that's not going to really end up working. Turns out she is my favorite character because she can heal, she can push enemies back. I had scenarios where I pushed the enemy off the stage and won the round. Zero is a character that you want to be very careful when you turn on his abilities because one of them is shutting down the enemy's shield, and you are going to have scenarios where you shut down one shield but then boom, you get another enemy that walks into the battlefield and that one has a shield as well, so you got to wait a couple of turns before you can activate that again. And then Christopher is the leader, he is the hero, he can heal, he can motivate, and he's an all-around pretty solid guy. The game does have a skill tree, and it does have multiple upgrades that you can get, including changing the weapons of your characters. And if you're somebody that's thinking about going into this game for the story, it does have dialogue trees as well if you want to be able to interact with the characters in a certain way. I'm a perfectionist in a game like this, and I'm sure you are as well. And to me, this game really clicked when I thought about it as a puzzle game because you have to maximize each character's movement. I had a specific stage that I played over 10 times, and honestly, I was about ready to quit the game because I just did not know what to do. And to top things off, you have to beat it within a set amount of turns. But then I realized that I had just one enemy left, and if I purposely exposed each one of my characters, I could get a better shot at them, and then Alice and everybody else could work as a team and get the job done. And I got the job done, and it felt so damn good. But if you love games like XCOM, Final Fantasy Tactics, Wargroove, or other games that require a lot of strategy, I definitely recommend you give Element Space a shot. Now at number 4, this is a game that I played all the way back to the Mix last year, and it is an action party game that can be played with up to 4 players that blends hide and seek and Super Smash Bros. Together. That's right, currently available as part of Early Access on Steam, we gotta talk about Shadow Brawlers. Shadow Brawlers is a game that we have been anticipating its early access release ever since we first played it at the Mix. Out now for $14.99, this game can be played with up to 4 players, and currently, even though it does not have online multiplayer, it can be played online using Parsec. And because it just came out in early access, it does not have all that many options. You have a training mode which gets the ball rolling and it makes you understand what the gameplay is all about, as I mentioned. This is almost like hide and seek because you have your character that you play as and then you swap around your color so that way you sometimes blend into the background. So that way if you're at a lighter part you switch to that and then the enemy has to do their best to find you and vice versa. And I think the training mode could become a full-fledged feature because I had a lot of fun playing it. But the real meat and potatoes is the multiplayer. I played this extensively with my wife and had a lot of fun because unlike a fighting game, even something like Smash Brothers, there's not a lot to learn here. You have your attack, but sometimes if you both attack at the same time, you cancel each other out, so you have to keep trying and just seeing who gets the upper hand. And it is all about the little details because sometimes you see a speck of dust, you see a chair move, you see a ball move, and even when you first start playing, I love the fact that they give you this opening area, so even if you're somebody that is playing this for the first time, you get a good sense of what the gameplay is all about. Another nice touch is that the levels actually change as the rounds go on, so you're not playing the exact same stage every single time, so it keeps things a little bit interesting. My advice if you want to play this game, don't rush it. It's about offense, but it is also about defense, so a couple of times I'd just be sitting there waiting for my wife to make the move, but then ultimately as I moved, she would stop and then it's all about where is she? But wait a minute, where am I? You gotta keep track of your character. Now, I don't know how long this game is going to be on early access for, but I really hope they eventually port it to the Nintendo Switch. It just blends itself perfectly for it. The fact that you immediately have 2 Joy-Cons, and it is a game that is made for action, local party goodness. So if you'd like me to keep covering this game down the line, because I really do feel like it has a ton of potential, please let me know as I look forward to seeing any additional features like maybe a tag team match or other really cool things that will make a Shadow Brawlers a must-have for people that love local party games. So those have been 4 of the indie games that I've been playing recently, and as you can tell, I've tried to play different genres at the same time because I don't know if you're like me, but if I play a lot of action games or a lot of RPGs at the same time, I get easily burnt out. So the good thing about these games is that I can play something like a short hike. I end it, but then I can start to play something like Remi Lore. Once that game starts frustrating me, then maybe we play a little bit of a party action game with Shadow Brawlers. So with these 4 games that I've showcased, please let me know which was your favorite game, if you'd like me to work on other videos like this down the line, because I know that once again, like I mentioned at the very beginning, so many games come out. You look at the Nintendo Switch eShop, you look at Steam, and it seems like 3 days go by and 20 to 30 games come out, and often most of them are at a pretty damn good price. So I'm going to be doing my best to help you out so you can help me out as well by recommending other games that are similar to these. So if you like the video, if you like what I do, consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that notifications bell. I do have many videos available right now on the channel, including retro-inspired ones talking about God of War, playing PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 1 demo discs. So if you want to watch those, check those out right now. So without further ado, up until next time, thank you for watching and supporting, and I will definitely be back with a lot more indie goodness here at Player Juan. Take care, everybody.